For years, my own family never called me. Not once. They ignored my messages, skipped my birthdays, and acted like I didn't exist. I built my restaurant from nothing while carrying the pain of being abandoned by the people I loved the most. Then one evening, while I was checking my restaurant accounts, the door opened, and my family walked in. The same people who had cut me off years ago were now standing in front of me. My father placed papers on my table and said, "Sign over 15% of your restaurant, or I'll call your landlord tonight." Everyone thought I would break. They thought I was still the same person they left behind. But they forgot one thing. They didn't know what I had built during those 4 years. And they had no idea what I was about to reveal. My name is Daniel, and for most of my life, I believed family would always stand beside me. I grew up in a family where success was everything. My father was a businessman who believed people were measured by their achievements. From a young age, I was always compared to others. My father wanted me to follow his path. He wanted me to work in his company and continue the family legacy. But I had a different dream. I wanted to build something of my own. I loved cooking. I loved seeing people enjoy food that I created. My dream was to open a restaurant where people felt like they were eating in someone's home. When I told my family about my plan, they laughed. My father looked at me and said, "A restaurant? After everything I built, this is your dream." My mother stayed quiet. My siblings supported my father. They told me I was making a mistake. They said I would fail within months, but I believed in myself. I left the family business and started working toward my dream. Those first years were extremely difficult. I had limited money. I worked during the day and prepared food at night. Sometimes I slept only a few hours. There were days when I questioned myself. I wondered if my family was right. But every time a customer smiled and told me my food was amazing, I felt hope again. Then one day, everything changed. My family called me. For a moment, I thought they wanted to support me. I thought maybe they finally believed in my dream. But I was wrong. My father told me I had embarrassed the family by leaving his business. He said I was selfish. He said I was wasting my life. Those words hurt deeply. I tried explaining that I wasn't trying to disrespect anyone. I just wanted to create my own future. But they didn't listen. My father ended the conversation by saying, "If you choose this life, don't come back expecting us to help you." And that was the last time I spoke to them. For years, I lived without my family. No calls, no visits, no messages. During those 4 years, I experienced some of the hardest moments of my life. My restaurant almost closed twice. I faced financial problems. I worked through sickness. I cleaned tables myself. I cooked meals myself. I did everything because I had nobody else. But slowly, things started changing. Customers began returning. People started recommending my restaurant. The small place I created became successful. I hired employees. I expanded the menu. Eventually, my little restaurant became one of the busiest places in the area. But even after success came, there was still an empty space in my heart, because money cannot replace family. One evening, 4 years after they left me, something unexpected happened. The restaurant was busy. I was walking through the dining area when I saw 3 familiar faces: my father, my mother, and my older brother. For a moment, I couldn't move. I thought maybe they came because they missed me. Maybe they wanted to apologize. Maybe they finally understood. I walked toward them, but before I could say anything, my father placed a folder on the table. No hug, no apology, no "how have you been?" Just papers. He looked at me and said, "We need you to sign this." I opened the folder. My heart stopped. It was an agreement asking me to give them 15% ownership of my restaurant. I looked at him in disbelief. "Why?" My father leaned forward. "Because this restaurant exists on property connected to our old family business. We can create problems if you refuse." My family had not returned because they missed me. They returned because they saw my success. My father noticed my silence. He said, "Don't make this difficult." Years ago, those words would have broken me. But something inside me had changed. I had spent for years building myself without their approval. I calmly closed the folder. Everyone expected me to argue. Instead, I smiled. My father looked confused. "Why are you smiling?" I replied, "Because 4 years ago, you told me I would fail without you." The room became quiet. I continued, "You were right about one thing. I did struggle. I did fall many times. But you were wrong about something else. I didn't need you to succeed. I needed myself to believe." My family looked uncomfortable. Then I pulled out my own documents. I placed them on the table. My restaurant lease, my business records, my ownership papers. Everything was legally protected. I looked at my father and said, "You didn't come here because you missed your son. You came because you saw what I built." My mother started crying. For the first time, she looked ashamed. She said, "Daniel, we made mistakes." I looked at them. Part of me wanted to forgive immediately, because they were still my family. But forgiveness does not mean forgetting everything. I told them, "I forgive you, but trust takes time to rebuild." My father lowered his head. The man who once thought I couldn't succeed without him finally understood. That day, I learned something important. Sometimes the people who doubt you the most are the ones who become surprised by your success. But success is not about proving others wrong. It is about proving to yourself that you are always capable. Never let someone's rejection convince you that you are worthless. Sometimes being left alone forces you to discover your own strength. The people who walk away from you may one day return when they see what you have built. But remember, your success should come from your passion, not from seeking someone's approval. Keep working, keep believing, because the person who believes in you first should always be yourself.